r/AskReddit by Reddify. Gamers, what's the strangest encounter you've had with players online? I was playing Company of Heroes 2, and this guy was thoroughly beating me when I was on my last legs. He said, right, come into my base and kill me. I won't fight back. Withdrew all his forces to one side and tried to let me. What was happening? Had to think for a few seconds. Well, you see, in COD2 you play against people of your skill level. This fool was so sad he always wanted to win. So he'd play until he knew he'd won the game psychologically, then actually let the other player technically win. So he stayed in hitty crap hole league and got to continually whoop people. What an asshat. SOOOO. I thought screw that and told him he was going to have to finish me off because I wasn't going to kill him. Next thing, he starts base destroying his own base with friendly fire. So now I'm really mad and I start self-destroying my own base to teach him a lesson and make the game think he won. And it gets really ducked up when I start destroying just the units he has that are trying to destroy his base and in mine. So we are fighting two battles, one for the destruction of the other's army and one for our. I even started making my men stand in between his tanks and his base as human shields, which stopped him shooting for a while because of the risk of accidentally hitting the enemy. But he has a frigging great army, so his base is getting hammered faster and he's gonna get the loss he wants, which, in this strange encounter, now meant he's the winner. Keeping up. He is sending surreal messages like, you suck at this. I just destroyed all my bunkers and most of my men are dead, which, well, was different from most things people type to me on COD2. So, in last minute desperation, I pulled the plug on my internet knowing that my disconnect meant he would register a win and I'd get a lose, which somehow, in my head, makes me the winner. Then I sat back, took a deep breath, and thought to myself, what the duck just happened? Edit. I have just overtaken, with this single reply, the amount of comment karma I got in the year 2015. D. I was playing a game of Mount and Blade, Napoleonic Wars. Bear in mind each game has 250 players. My team was defending a large house surrounded by walls. A unique thing about the game is that you can choose to play bagpipers and various other characters with musical instrumentals. So I was running around the house and I saw a piano. So I went over and started picking tunes to play on it. A few seconds later a squad of musicians come running down the stairs and just start playing with me. Eventually almost the entire team was down there dancing by toggling crouch. Out of nowhere a cannonball came flying through the wall and the piano and killed me. Then all of a sudden on chat someone typed, they killed the piano man. And a few moments later someone else typed, forward, for the piano man. And then charged out of the newly formed hole in the wall and the entire team followed shouting the same into chat. It was hilarious and bewildering at the same time. I was playing one of the earlier Cody games and a little kid came on the mic. Sounded like he was maybe 7 or 8. I probably wasn't the only one who was getting ready to hear about he ducked somebody's mom. Anyway, the kid is super polite, says hello to everybody on the team and asks if we mind working together so we don't ruin his KDR. He organized us pretty well. Made sure only a couple of us played sniper loadouts and had us organized by loadouts as we made our way around the map as a team using covering fire and a couple strategic flanks. I'm not sure what was more impressive, that the little kid organized it all and was super nice, or that everyone on the team listened to him and we all worked together. We cleaned house that match and I never saw him again. In the game Elite Dangerous I was flying around in a more populated area when I got interdicted by a wing of orcas. Very large fast ship. Great for ramming other ships. One of the players rings my ship for voice comms and I accept, hoping to talk my way out of a hostile situation. Nope. He blasts circus music and they all start flying at me at insane speeds. I didn't get away, but I laughed in the end. Back in the day I was on a random Minecraft server and I'd left my base to go mining. When I got back I saw someone inside and asked in the chat why he was in there. He asked for my Skype name and then called me. What happened next was a hostage situation. He rigged my house with TNT and said if I didn't give him all my valuables he'd blow the house up. Server had locked chests, but not any anti-griefing systems. To prove he was serious, he took my dog to the window and killed him. A few of the mods from the server were online and nearby, so came over and asked if they wanted me to kick and ban him. I thought it was quite funny, so let it play out and tried to talk. That lasted a second before he blew the place up. Happy ending though. They banged him, then helped me build a new house. RIP Cecil though. Modern Warfare 2. I've posted about this before on a different thread. I forget the name of the map, but it was the big grass one with the radioactive perimeter and a cave/bunker in the middle. I've been told it's wasteland. My friends and I would all equip riot shields and move around like Spartans in the phalanx formation, without talking to the other team or communicating with them in any way. They also started moving in the phalanx formation, and eventually it evolved into a riot shield fight club inside the bunker. Two guys would go into the middle and start ramming each other with their shields, while the rest of us were standing around them in a circle, jumping. It was one of the funniest and strangest things I have ever seen. The fact that there is another group of friends out there as weird as mine, and we ran into them, was very surprising. Evi is plenty weird, so mine is sort of mundane, but whatever. As a brief primer on Evi, in normal space, there is this thing called local, which is the chat window for the system. It lists all players currently in the system, so you always know if there's someone there. Then there's wormhole space. There is no local, you only appear there once you enter a message into the chat window. You could be surrounded by 20 players ready to murder you, and you wouldn't know till you went pop. There is a thing called scan though that reveals most ships in the local area around you, which is to say around 14.3 AU. Part of the culture of wormhole space then is that you don't talk in local, ever, not for any reason. This led to an odd situation once upon a time, when I was running around in wormhole space. I had named my ship Please Don't Shoot or something similar. I hit mid scan and discovered a ship called Oh Yes I Will. In jest, I renamed my ship to Please No. On my next scan hit, the ship had changed to Coming to Kill You. I then proceeded to have a conversation for a few minutes purely by constantly changing the name of my ship and never once using the chat function provided in game. I was playing Rust a little bit ago and started a war between my group of 5 friends and the admin's group of butts. He was a cool admin. It all started when we saw 2 men strolling outside our abode ass naked. This being a rare spectacle, we greeted them with our rifles and invited them inside. We designed an airlock kind of design on our house, so we told them to stay in the decompression part of the entrance while we fetched supplies to give them. After we gave them some nice clothing and weapons that we had found, we invited them to our morning ritual to worship the sun god. Every morning, as the sun rose, we would fire of 10 rounds at the sky to honor its return. We even built a giant obelisk that you would climb with a platform at the top for where you choose. Our acquaintances followed, and upon firing off our 5th shot or so I had declared that the god demands a sacrifice to my friend. We paused and both gunned down our new friends while making uok-like screams. The next 4 hours consisted of 5 guys trying to snipe us in our home while we tried to counter-snipe them. It was a blast. Years ago, I listened to 2 brothers living in the same house who were on separate Xboxes argue with each other in an Xbox live party. They were both members of a large clan I was in. Well, it got so heated brother number 1 ran over to brother number 2, and they started physically fighting, and we can hear it, since neither of them took their mix off, and for whatever reason they didn't fall off or get. Brother number 2 started crying hysterically. We then hear their parents screaming at them, and we can hear brother number 1 try to justify his actions, and brother number 2 claim that he was unfairly hit in the face multiple times. We couldn't hear the parents' specific words, but we could tell they were pissed. Eventually both brothers are saying no, and please no, and mom, oh my god, no. After that, both mics go silent, one after the other. The party screen showed the mics weren't plugged in anymore, and neither brother does anything for about 10 minutes. After, they go offline and we never saw them come online again. Oh. And both brothers sounded like they were about 14, 16 years old. A guy in the Battlefield 1 beta threatened to suck off the horse I was riding because I ran him over and then trampled him. As soon as he spawned again. Dies. Duck. Him gonna suck your horse's Ike. Edit. Of course my top comment is about sucking off a horse. Also I have no idea who buys this, but I will look it up.